Let's talk about one of the most frustrating feelings ever. You do everything right. You get your 8 hours, you put your phone away, but you still wake up feeling, well, totally drained. What if the solution isn't about more sleep, but actually smarter sleep? We're about to dive into some really fascinating secrets from Japan that could, no joke, change how you wake up forever. So, does this sound familiar? You clock in your 7, maybe even 8 full hours. You go to bed on time, but that morning alarm, it still feels like a personal attack, right? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. And here's the really frustrating part. The number of hours you're sleeping, it's probably not the real problem. And this is the paradox, isn't it? Someone in Japan can get the exact same amount of sleep, sometimes even less, and wake up feeling like a completely different person. They're fresh, they're focused, while so many of us are just zombies stumbling towards the coffee pot, lost in a mental fog. So, what in the world is their secret? Okay, it really all boils down to this one simple thing. We have been obsessed with the quantity of our sleep, right? Counting those hours, chasing that magic number 8. But the real secret, it's all in the quality. So we're going to break down 7 science-backed habits from Japan that are laser-focused on that quality. And the best part, you can literally start with these tonight. All right, first things first. Let's tackle your physical space, the room where all the magic is supposed to happen. We're going to look at 3 super simple ways to optimize your environment for that deep, restorative rest we're all chasing. In this section, we'll be talking about the temperature shift, this idea of support over softness, and a pretty cool hot bath ritual. Okay, habit number 1, cool down your cave. Look, it turns out that a cool room isn't just about being comfortable. It is a non-negotiable biological signal for your brain to kickstart that deep sleep cycle. Just take a look at this difference. It's pretty wild. A huge study of homes in Japan found that their bedrooms average a chilly 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Now compare that to the typical American bedroom, which is often a full 15 degrees warmer. That's not a small gap. That is a huge difference, and it has an absolutely massive impact on your sleep. So, why does this even matter? Well, as the amazing sleep scientist Dr. Matthew Walker puts it, your brain has to physically cool down to get into those deep, restorative stages of sleep. A colder room just makes that whole process way easier for your body. So your goal for tonight? Try to aim for somewhere between 60 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, habit number 2. Let's talk about our beds. For years, we've been sold this idea that a super plush, cloud-like mattress is the ultimate luxury, right? But here's the hard truth. Your spine could not care less about how cozy you feel. What it really craves is support. The Japanese approach is all about one thing: alignment. Sleeping on a firm surface like a traditional futon keeps your spine perfectly neutral. And why is this such a big deal? Well, because when your spine is even slightly out of alignment, your body makes these tiny little adjustments all night long. They're called micro-awakenings. You won't even remember them, but each one pulls you out of deep sleep, just for a second, totally shattering the quality of your rest and leaving you feeling groggy. Okay, our third and final habit for your physical space is the Ofuro Ritual. It's this wonderful tradition of taking a hot bath before bed. And trust me, the science behind why this works is seriously cool. Now, you'd think a hot bath would just make you hotter, right? Makes sense. But it's actually the opposite. It's this brilliant little trick you play on your body. See, when you get out of that hot bath, all the blood rushes to the surface of your skin, causing your core body temperature to drop, and drop fast. That sudden dip is a super powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, it's time to release melatonin and get ready for sleep. All right, so we've tweaked the hardware, your room. Now let's dive into the software, your mindset, and your daily habits around sleep. And honestly, this stuff is just as important, maybe even more so. Coming up, we're going to talk about shifting the shame around being tired, mastering the mini nap, and why it's so important to switch that tech off before you sleep on. This is a really profound cultural difference. Here in the West, we have this hustle culture where being tired is seen as a weakness, right? Something you have to hide with a gallon of coffee. But in Japan, hearing someone say, "You look tired," can actually be a compliment. It's seen as an acknowledgement of your hard work, your diligence. Just that simple shift in perspective can remove so much of the shame and stress that, ironically, makes it even harder to fall asleep. And this whole idea is perfectly wrapped up in the concept of inemuri, which is basically napping in public, on a train, even at your desk.
Far from being something that would get you fired, it's often seen as an honorable sign that you're so dedicated you've worked yourself to the point of exhaustion. It's all about honoring your body's natural need for rest, not fighting it. And that brings us right to the power of the strategic nap. See, instead of obsessing over getting a perfect, unbroken 8 hours every single night, the focus is more on recovery. And a short 20-minute nap, that is the absolute sweet spot. It's just long enough to give you a real boost in memory, mood, and focus, but it's short enough that you don't fall into that deep sleep that leaves you feeling all groggy. You know, that sleep inertia feeling.
Okay, habit number 6 is a big one for our modern world. Our bedrooms have basically become a second living room, right? A cinema, an office, you name it. They're filled with TVs, tablets, and phones. The key here is to reclaim your bedroom for the one thing it was actually designed for: sleep. We all know this by now, but it's worth repeating. That blue light beaming from our screens is a total enemy of good sleep. It basically tells your brain to stop making melatonin, which is the hormone that helps you fall asleep. The rule is so simple, but it is so powerful. 1 hour before bed, all screens go dark. Period. Let your brain power down the natural way. All right, and we've got a bonus habit for you, number 7. Let's talk about something so simple but so often overlooked: your pillow. I mean, think about it. Your neck is stuck in one position for hours and hours. Giving it the proper support isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely critical. So traditional Japanese Sobakawa pillows are filled with something called buckwheat holes. Now, unlike those soft, fluffy pillows that your head just sinks into, these are designed to actually mold to and support the natural curve of your neck. It seems like a small change, but it can make a massive difference in reducing neck pain and improving sleep quality, just by keeping everything in proper alignment all night. Phew! Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, I know, and it might feel like a lot to change all at once, so don't even try. The goal here isn't perfection. Let's just boil this all down to a simple, actionable plan you can start with tonight. So here is your action plan for better sleep. 1. Cool your room down to that 60 to 65 degree range. 2. Try taking a hot bath an hour or two before bed. 3. Reframe that feeling of tiredness as feedback, not failure. 4. Set that 1 hour screen-free boundary. And 5. Just take a look at your pillow and see if it's really supporting your neck. Look, you don't have to do all 5 tonight, just pick one. Maybe start by cooling down your room. That's a super easy and impactful first step. And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important question of all. After hearing all of this, what's the one habit, just one small change that you are going to try tonight? Because truly better, more energizing sleep, it doesn't start tomorrow morning. It starts with that one simple decision you make right now.